Good morning, YouTube. It's cold. So let me show you what we got going here. I'm just gonna turn on the car right now. It's been sitting outside for quite some time. The screen's a little slow moving. You guys probably can't see that, but the outside temp, minus 17. Ugh. It was minus 25.6. Not that the decimal matters when it's minus 25 degrees out. But what I wanted to show you is how does the heater work in this when it's cold. This screen is cold. If you guys can see down here, there's even like a little, I don't even know what that is. Huh. Yeah, she's cold. So I brought in a couple temp deals here. I don't even think this thing gets, it's been kind of sitting in the sun, but point being is exterior temp right now, it's saying minus 17. Inside the vehicle, I brought two of them. They're both saying 14 degrees Fahrenheit. So what I want to do is take you guys for a ride and let's see what this interior temperature can do. So let me, sorry if there's any jacket noise. I've got the GoPro on the chest mount, and I've got my jacket on because I'm gonna try to keep this thing warm so it will operate. So again, no preheating here. I'm just gonna start driving. I know you guys probably can't see much of the road. That's okay. What I want to show you is the cabin temp here, and just sort of talk you through what I'm experiencing. So let me just stop here for a second. When we look at the heat, I've got it on defrost right now. The e-heat is on, obviously, because I've got the temp set to 85. I don't have recirculation on because I'm going to be talking, and that's going to help with the defrost to leave that as is. So we're going to watch and see what our energy does. I'm going to try to drive, you know, normally I'm not going to be hard on the gas. And we're just going to kind of see. Where's our energy going? As you could imagine, 100% right now to climate use. This is going to constantly change. I don't have a phone plugged in. I don't have, you know, really any other accessories. The seat heater is on high. The steering wheel heater is on. There is no high or low for the steering wheel heater. It is what it is. We're gonna see, in a previous video, I talked about the heater performance. This particular vehicle has a 5 kW or 5,000 watt PTC style heater. So think of in a combustion engine, your engine starts, even on a cold day like today, your engine starts up. As the engine warms up, there's a thermostat in there that takes your antifreeze or your coolant, and it'll start cooling the engine down once the thermostat opens, which is, you know, depending on the vehicle, could be around 100 and, you know, anywhere from like 175 to 190-ish, and then that coolant then cools the engine down. That coolant travels through a heater core, which is essentially like an aluminum block, and then there's fans in that heater that take that heat, extract it from the coolant, and then blow it through the vehicle. Obviously, in an electric vehicle, we don't have a combustion engine, so you have that 5 kW PTC heater, which essentially just turns on. Think of like an electric heater, and then a coolant passes through that. It goes into a heater core, much like a traditional gasoline vehicle, and then the fans extract the heat from that heater core and then blow it into the vehicle. So the question today is going to be, we're going to try to answer a few questions here, but how does that 5,000 watt heater work in an electric vehicle? How fast is it going to warm up? Can it keep up when it's minus 17? Now it says minus 18 degrees Fahrenheit. Again, the vehicle was parked outside all night. I did not use any preheat. As you saw, I got in the vehicle, powered it on, and we're off. So Right now, what are we at? 4 minutes and 50 seconds in the vehicle. My seat is warm. It is very warm. It actually feels good. My fingertips are cold. The steering wheel feels nice. I can feel that it's warming up. It feels really good on the palms of my hands, but my fingertips are frozen. If I reach ahead here and I'm feeling the, I don't know, what do you call it, the side window defrost here, it does not, maybe it feels just a tiny bit warm, definitely does not feel hot. So 5 minutes in, I'm not feeling any hot air. I'm looking down, I can see the interior temperature of the vehicle. Both of those thermometers that I brought are still reading 14 degrees. In a little bit here, once the vehicle's been running for a bit more, I'll find a spot to stop and we can take one of those thermometers and try to stick it in front of the vent, and we'll see if what temperature the air is. So looking over at our display screen, as we continue to drive here, we're getting 1.4 miles per kilowatt hour. If you look at videos I just posted yesterday, I know it's kind of boring, it's very PowerPoint-esque, but I broke down the numbers as far as what the averages are. Like, what am I getting essentially, like the miles per gallon, or for electric vehicles they call it MPGE, or miles per gallon equivalent. I broke down electrical costs, you know, about what it costs me to charge the vehicle up, how far it gets me compared to, like, you know, the current gasoline prices. I talked a lot about electrical prices in that video as well. Bottom line is, as I'm sure you could expect, winter driving absolutely affects the range of any EV. And, you know, I'm in northern Minnesota, so it certainly affects me. So do I need to be prepared for that and plan ahead for that? Absolutely. But should it be a deal breaker? In my opinion, no. But what we need to find out here is, can I take my family on a road trip in this when it's this cold? I mean, this is cold, but we can't, in Minnesota here, we can't shut life down when it gets this cold. Like, we still have to go to work, we still have things to do, so we can't just stop what we're doing. But if our vehicle can't keep us warm, then obviously that's going to be problematic. I understand also part of the reason for doing this test, not everybody is fortunate to be able to either A, plug their vehicle in overnight, or B, have the luxury of parking inside a heated garage. And if I didn't have a heated garage and I needed to just plop the family in the vehicle, can this thing keep us warm? Or, you know, do we need to have layers on? I've got my Carhartt Extreme jacket on right now, and although it's keeping me pretty warm, you know, kids in the back seat don't have seat heaters. My wife and I riding in front, we have very warm seat heaters, but the kids in the back do not. So is this air going to be warm enough to keep them comfortable? You know, one thing I've not been able to find a whole lot of information on is, obviously battery performance is significantly affected in the cold. Part of that heater is going to you know, go to the batteries. It's going to help keep the batteries warm. But unfortunately, to my I know that there's no way that we can say, hey, we need to direct all of that battery power, all of that heating power to go to the cabin. I don't know if the system can, you know, sense that, if that's a thing, or not. Otherwise, you know, what are we doing here? Are we just randomly, you know, does the system say, okay, the batteries need more of this heat than the cabin does? I don't know the answer to that. You know, it's interesting. Right now, it looks like cabin temperature, these, my two thermometers are still reading 14 degrees. Outside air temperature is saying minus 17. We're at like 35 to 40 below with the wind chill. That's in Fahrenheit. So I'm gonna find a spot up here in a minute, and we're gonna pull over and we'll talk about this a little bit more in depth. Let me just tell you kind of what I'm experiencing right now. So the seat is warm. It feels really good. And I've said this from day one, the seat heater in this thing is impressive. This is the Mach-E GT It's got the extended range battery. It's the all-wheel drive. I do have some gripes. This thing should have cooled seats. That's for another video. But the idea here is, you know, how is this heater performing? So as I move my hands up to the top of the steering wheel where I haven't been touching, feels nice. It's warm. It's definitely not too warm. In my opinion, it could probably even get a little bit warmer. Like, I would certainly be okay with that. I'm gonna pull over. Got a good spot to park over here. And then we can discuss this. Okay. So here's where we're at. 14 degrees Fahrenheit. Nothing has really changed. So what I'm gonna do, I wonder if that guy will sit right there. There. So let me see if you guys can see this. So over here, I put one of those thermometers, and I'm just gonna let the air vent blow on that. And there's, just putting my hand here, I mean, it's kind of warm. My hands are cold, so I can feel a little bit of heat. In my 2007 Silverado, this thing would be blowing out like hot air. You'd certainly be able to feel that a little bit more. You know what? Let me take you guys. Okay, it's gonna be bumpy here for a second. I'm gonna take the GoPro mount off so I can show you some close-up stuff as long as we're sitting here. Just give me one moment. Okay. So here's another thing. If you guys can see right here, so see that little bar there? So anytime you would accelerate, you're gonna see this move to the right. So there'll be like a bar that goes up to the right. But if you can notice these like dashes here, so everywhere you see those dashes, think of that like a block. What the car is doing is it's saying you can't accelerate past where those dashes are. Like, the vehicle won't let you. Imagine like if you had a cinder block or a big piece of wood underneath your gas pedal, and no matter how hard you stomp on it, you can't go any more than that. What the vehicle is doing is it's saying, hey, it's super cold out here. You know, we're not going to allow you to go any faster than that because it's going to be taxing on the batteries. And as you can see with the blue here, I'm very well charged. I think I'm at like 91 or 92% charged, I think is what it says. And you can see my range, estimated range, 117 miles. Now, these are very conservative numbers. There's been lots of reviews on that that's, you know, they're very conservative. Your range is actually going to be more than that. And again, I did a video on range yesterday. So if I had this in a heated garage, those bars would be gone, and I would have full ability to accelerate there. So I guess that's something to keep in mind. Now, the thing drives like a normal automobile, like any other sedan that you would be out driving. It works just fine. So don't get me wrong. Even though you only have like that little bit there, it's just fine. You can move just fine. So anyways, let's take a look back at the climate use here. So 26% of our energy output has gone to climate use, 48% driving, 4% accessories. I'm still not exactly sure what, because I don't have anything plugged in, and I don't know if they consider an accessory heating like, you know, the steering wheel heater. I'm not sure if that's considered an accessory. 22% related to the exterior temperature, and as you can see, 10:03 in the morning, we're at minus 17 still. Yeah. Let's take a look at our temperature. So our cabin temp, we're still at 14. I'm gonna give just a little bit more. We're gonna let that try to acclimate feel a little bit warm air there. I still have just the defrost on, and I can feel my toes are cold. Toes are getting cold. So if we take a look here, what I can do is, as you can see, we've got defrost, but I'm gonna mix it now. You probably saw the e-heat light up here. I don't know why Ford does that. Obviously the heat was on when it was on defrost as well. This thing's clunky. I'm finding that the auto temperature as well seems to be a little bit cumbersome. You know, you can set this and it doesn't do the best job, in my opinion, of regulating that temperature. And it could be that I've been doing a lot of these tests when it's been fairly cold. But I don't know. Maybe I just got to get used to that a little bit more. Right now I have it overridden. So it's trying to get it up to 85 degrees. But if I take this and just say, hey, let's just go to manual mode here. We'll put that at the number 6 setting. Basically now I'm just controlling the fan speed. I'm not letting the auto fan speed take over. So let's take a look at where we're at here. Okay, so it's saying the temperature is now at 27 degrees and very slowly climbing. Good grief. So you guys, we've been in here now for 15 minutes and 40 seconds. And the cabin temperature is still saying 14. It's cold. It's cold in here. I don't know. So you could probably hear my frustration, and I'd be lying if I didn't say I was frustrated. And I tried to come into this video with an open mind. This has been my daily driver. This car's been my daily driver. I've been driving it a lot when it's been, you know, 0 degrees, when it's been 10 degrees Fahrenheit, and obviously today when it's minus 17. You know, I've been overall pretty happy with this vehicle, but I gotta say that the climate portion is leaving a lot to be desired during these colder temperatures. It's actually pretty frustrating. We're this far in, and this thing still hasn't warmed up. I don't know about there's the active air dams in the front of this vehicle that obviously can allow air to come in. I would like to think that those are, you know, it's like smart or active dams where they only open and close as needed. So, you know, I'm sure there's some of you might be thinking, well, you're driving down the road at 50 or 60 miles an hour, and that's a lot of cold air coming in. That's true, but I'm sitting here now, and we're really not gaining much on this on the interior temperature. It's still quite cold. Let's take a look. Okay, so we hit 32 degrees, guys. 32 degrees now. Like, you can see where this thing is. It's literally underneath the blowing air vent. So if I put my hand down here on the floor, there's certainly air moving. It feels a little bit warm, but it's definitely not hot. So part of the reason why I wanted to sit here for a minute is 85 degrees is what the temperature I'm trying to get. So the heater should be saying, hey, I need to be full bore, we need to be getting this warm. Also, by me sitting here and not moving, we can't say that the argument is, well, you're forcing a bunch of that ice cold air and the system is just having a heck of a time keeping up. That's why I'm just like literally sitting here, and you can see our climate use is going up, and whereas our driving is not, because I'm just sitting here parked. Gosh, I lost my train of thought. What else was I going to say? I knew this video was going to get long. I'm sure most of you aren't sitting here listening to me babble about this, but I'm trying to give this as unbiased and as, you know, an appropriate review as possible. I'm trying to give it the benefit of the doubt, basically. So our inside temp, you can see we're still at 14 degrees Fahrenheit with the Accurate. If we go back up here now, let's see where we're at. 36 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. Now, just because I'm not driving, I'm still talking, I'm sure our windows are going to get foggy when I do this, but let's go ahead and put on the max. So what that's doing now is it closes the dampers on the HVAC system, and it's not mixing any outside air. So in theory, this should get us the warmest temperature possible inside the vehicle. The reason that your windows fog up when you do this is because you're not getting any of that outside air. Your humidity's rising, and especially when I'm talking, I fully expect my windows to start fogging up here at some point. But this should give us the warmest air possible, so we'll see if we get any climb out of that. So as you can see, we're just hitting the 20-minute mark now that I've been inside the vehicle. I don't know if my fingers are just getting more numb or if, you know, it feels a little bit warmer in here, I guess. We did go to 16 degrees Fahrenheit. And take this with a small grain of salt. Like, I give these things plus or minus 3 or 4 degrees. Like, I don't expect this thing to be the most accurate. So you can see there, we just hit 18. I'm gonna stop touching it. Now I'm breaking it. I'm gonna stop touching it just so I can make sure that it's not getting any heat from my body. Okay. Take a look up here. 39. Gosh, I still can't believe, like, I just really think that that should be a lot warmer than it actually is. Oh boy. So overall, am I disappointed? Yep, I am. Some of you people might be thinking that's like ridiculous. You know, if you're in a warmer climate, first of all, why do you punish yourself with that temperature? Yeah, I get it, I hear it. But you know, this is cold for us, don't get me wrong. Like, the weather service put out wind chill warnings and, you know, temperature warnings. I get that, but we have next week here, the daytime high temps are single digits the entire week, and overnight it's below 0. So this car's got to be able to perform. That's what it comes down to. And if it can't, I can't recommend it. I mean, is the performance awesome? For the short period of time that I had this when we didn't have snow, because I took delivery of this in like late fall, it was awesome. This is an awesome handling car. I love that portion of it. But something's got to change with this heating system. I don't know if, again, I talked about this, the seat heater, like I'm very warm, like my body feels warm. The steering wheel feels good, it's warm. You know, if I didn't have my hands on the GoPro and I was just holding onto the steering wheel, like, that would be really good. So me as the driver, I'm doing well. My passenger now, my front seat passenger has the seat heater, but nothing for their hands. And then the kids in the back, they've got nothing. They've got nothing back there. No seat heater. So all they're relying on is just the air itself. Out of the sort of this rear console, this is where the air comes out, and I'm just feeling down here with my hand. I can certainly feel air moving. It feels a little bit warm, but it's, again, definitely not hot. So where are we at here? 23 minutes. I have the system on recirculate still. Windows haven't started fogging up, so that's good. 23 degrees. Again, I'm trying not to handle that so I don't get any heat from my hand. See what we're doing up here. Hey, 45. We're warming up. And now that my hand is here, the heat that's coming out of here does feel warmer. Definitely does. All right, so I'm not gonna keep you guys here. Those of you that are still watching, first of all, thank you. If you find this information helpful, please consider subscribing, give the video a like. I'm trying to do as much content on the Mach-E as I can. If there's something specific you want to know, if you want to follow up to this video, I read all the comments, guys. This isn't a huge channel, so just let me know in the comments if there's something else that you want to see. I'll provide a summary. I'm not going to take you on my trip home again. If anything changes, I'll let you know, and I will report back on what the final temperatures are when I get home. I forgot how long it took to get here, what, maybe 10 minutes? So I'll report back, so we'll get another 10 minutes of time on this. Just trying to think if there's anything else I can show you. So our range is at 115 miles now. Cabin temp is saying 25. 48. So I'll report back, guys, but again, in summary, overall, not impressed. I understand wanting to keep the PTC heater, you know, not like a 10 kilowatt heater, because imagine what that's going to do to your range. But at some point, you got to put the control back into the driver, right? There's got to be more people than me that are going to be driving in some really cold temperatures. We're still at minus 17. If this vehicle is going to be able to be used in cold temperatures, and my range goes down even more because there's like a 7 or 8 kW heater instead of a 5, then that needs to go on me. But, you know, allow me to at least make that choice, right? If my range goes from 115 down to, you know, 100 or 95 because I'm using more electricity on my heater, then that's on me. But allow me to make those choices. Let me change this from 85 down to 75 or 73. It's just, again, I feel very blessed that I get to park in a heated garage and I can plug this thing in. So in reality, on a road trip, the system will be able to keep up even in this temperature. But again, for the person that isn't as fortunate, I don't know. I don't think I can recommend, at least from an HVAC standpoint, if you're in a very cold climate like I am, I don't know. We'll see. Let me, currently, no. That's my recommendation, is I can't recommend it. I think Ford needed to do better. They needed to do some more research on this. It's kind of upsetting that somebody else commented on it. You spend this kind of money on a vehicle and you got to worry about the heater. It's kind of baffling to me, and I can feel myself getting more upset as I sit here. So, all right, I've been going long enough here. One last view, 27 degrees, 54 now. So, yep, we are definitely warming up, so that's good. But again, we're 26 minutes in here, guys. 26 minutes, and I've been sitting here for quite a while. I'll report back, but again, give this video a like, hit subscribe, let me know in the comments what else you want to see, and we will see you guys on the next video.